Magic Monday with Empress Lysa. Welcome back, darling ones. We're here to talk about requiring respect and why, as highly sensitive empaths and intuitive, we actually necessitate respect in our lives. Now, I have to talk very strongly and forcefully about this because a lot of my tribe are very gentle, sensitive, mindful of others, compassionate and caring, and we tend to place the needs of others before ourselves. And I have lived that life. I have been that person that tried to make everyone else happy and tried to accommodate everyone else's needs and ran myself ragged and became incredibly depleted and then felt bitter and resentful. Now, once we reach the bottom of the barrel and we're sitting in that resentment and the bitterness, we start to realize that until we fulfill our own needs, accommodate ourselves, and hold ourselves in the highest honor and respect, we're not actually encouraging anyone else to do the same for us. Now, I've been willing to make some pretty big decisions in my life in order to show myself respect and honor. And what I've realized is that it's not common. I seem to have this very, very low threshold for tolerance for emotional and spiritual pain. I feel like I could suffer for like another 10, 20 years, or I could actually speak up and let somebody know that the way that they're treating me is not okay. I've actually acclimatized myself to prefer the latter so that I don't have to actually stay in lingering emotional and spiritual pain for all of time. And I have to be a little bit dramatic when I say this because the reality is that there's some people that are willing to make that decision, willing to sit in suffering, willing to accommodate others. You may be here, you may not be here. I respect your position, but I'm here to clarify and assert the position that I'm in and the response that I've found to be deeply nourishing, supportive, and helpful for me and members of my tribe. So, we're going to be talking into this idea of requiring respect. And the reason why we need to talk into this is that this is what it comes down to in regards to our self-care and our self-time. This is what it comes down to in our career and being able to prioritize our needs and support ourselves with the boundaries and the clarity around terms and conditions that are necessary. One of the things that I want you to know is that the way that we do something somewhere is the way that we do it everywhere. So when I require respect from my children and my husband and my clients and my friends and my family. Once again, I've realized that this is rare. Individuals that I work with and that I know tend to have different terms and conditions for different areas of their lives. But what I've realized through painful experience is that unless we have a consistency in all the contexts of our lives, then we're actually permitting and encouraging other people to dishonor and disrespect us. So, why do we not speak up and advocate for ourselves? Because we haven't seen it modeled. We have not seen adults around us who have been self-honoring and self-respectful to the point where they can actually advocate for themselves and say, I don't appreciate the way you're speaking to me. That's not okay. I'm actually going to remove myself from the situation because this is intolerable to my soul. Because we have not clearly seen this demonstrated around us, we tend to think that we're freaks or weirdos that we need it. And that is why I'm doing this video, because I want to be someone that is willing to get transparent and honest enough and actually show up and let you know I have made these decisions. I'm 35 years old this year, and I will consistently spend my life making these decisions, and that there's no area of exemption. So I don't allow my children to disrespect me, or I don't allow my friends, or I don't allow paying clients to disrespect me. And it's very important to understand that if you have conditions or approval for certain people in certain places, you're basically condoning and accepting that behavior. And I know this is really harsh and abrupt. I probably would have started crying if I would have heard someone say this about 15 years ago, because I was not demonstrating any of this self-advocacy and self-respect in my life at that point, and painful experience has shown me. I want to talk most importantly into the areas where we really permit this. We really permit this with family. In particular, our lover, our partner, our children, and our birth family. Particularly our birth family. And a lot of what I realize is at the heart of my sacred work is that it's always about nourishing, honoring, and respecting the truth of who I know I am, and then creating space and an allocation for others to be able to connect with their true selves and their true needs so that they can likewise honor and respect themselves. What I find is that when it comes to our birth family, particularly our biological mother and father, there seems to be this hesitancy to self-advocate, this kind of unwillingness to buck and rock the boat in order to be overly accommodating to our parents, some kind of contorted, misrepresented idea around honoring our parents means being completely obedient and compliant with all of their requests. That is not my reality. That is not my interpretation of that commandment, and that has not been my experience. I have understood that when pain surfaces in my belly, it's how my soul tells me that something is not good for me. And because I'm so highly sensitive and I have felt so much deep emotional pain in my belly for so long, I'm now blessed to be able to very quickly and easily discern when something is toxic, unsupportive, and unnurturing, or when something is supportive, nurturing, and I guess life affirming, soul affirming for me. One of the important decisions that we need to make in our lives is what degree are we willing to assert our needs despite the resistance or, reservations of other people. For example, if we're going to self-advocate, we're concerned that that's going to cost us love, affection, and inclusion. I reached a point in my life where I had no regard for the fabricated illusion of inclusion, acceptance, and love, because I actually knew that it only truly entailed them selfishly supporting themselves and dishonoring my needs in the name of love. So if love doesn't feel loving, is it really love? Would be my question to put to you. And one of the most powerful choices I've ever made is that I will walk away from anybody and everybody who dishonors and disrespects me, even if that includes my birth family, so that I may sit alone with myself in sacred self-respect. And I want to say that with every conviction of my full being to you, because we cave by trying to trade love with people who don't know love and are incapable of offering love. We try to meet their needs and we try to comply to their requirements in order to receive back this dodgy form of love, which is actually just control. It's not actually love. Those who love me free me to make choices that will be life-affirming and self-honoring for me. Okay, anyone who can't do that is just projecting their own needs onto you and making you compliant to fulfilling their needs. Ooh, I feel really like rebellious, like I feel very almost naughty saying this, and that's why I really wanted to give myself space to speak really powerfully into it, not censor myself, not pre-write down what I'm going to say, so that I could honestly allow my heart and my throat to release and put before you my personal perspective on this idea of requiring respect. It's not something we ask for, it's not something that we petition for, it's something that I require, and that I deliver consequences for anyone who won't meet my terms and conditions. And I just want to let you know that another human being on the planet is doing that. I wished I had have known more people who were self-advocating, who were self-respecting and self-honoring. I had very, very few models of that, and the very brief moments that I had were only kind of 5 or 10 minutes long. And so I've had to piece together a lot of my own approach to respecting and honoring myself and my life based on very, very minuscule fragments. It's very scary to say no to your birth family's requests. And I've done it repeatedly. And I do it because when I agree to conditions that allow me to be disrespected, I'm actually permitting myself to be hurt and dishonored. And one of the things that I truly believe is that our children don't treat themselves the way that we treated them when they're older. They actually treat themselves when they're older exactly the same way that they saw us treating ourselves. Okay, so my self-investment is an energetic investment in my children's future to ensure that when they need certain information when they're older, they can look back and they will have memories where they can recall me speaking up and standing up for myself, even against them. Woo! That's the best that Lysa Black has to bring for you today. I really wished that someone had shared this for me. I really wished that someone had given me permission to make myself the most important element within my universe. I have done that by necessity. I've not done that willingly. I have done it reluctantly, and it has blessed me immeasurably, because other people will respond to you in sacred reflection according to how you treat and respond to yourself. And I offer this with the most sincerest love, with so much gentleness and tenderness, that you can feel how incredibly difficult it's been for me to give this to myself. But I do it knowing that if I don't live as an energetic example of this being possible, I can't even open other people up to another way. So that's my rationale for bringing so much transparency and vulnerability and fierceness to this week's Heart Magic Monday. I hope that this has touched and blessed you. I'd love to hear what you think about it. If you're someone that wants to deepen into your truth and rise on purpose, this is where we do it, at Lysa Black's channel. I'm a healer and a mentor to gifted business leaders, people who want to rise and prosper on purpose through their business, making a difference on the world. I'm so thankful to have you here. Thank you for being a part of this.